Okay, so this is video 6 regarding the American Dream Project, giving you an example walkthrough. Video 6 is going to cover 14a to 16c. So I know we just left off with you buying a house, but then we're going to let you live your life, and then it leads to this part where you actually have to plan for retirement. So retirement seems really, really far off, but believe it or not, you should start planning for your retirement as soon as you get out of college or start working in the real world. And you're going to see why in a second once you do this section of the project. So first of all, I'd like to acknowledge, yes, the numbers skipped from 9 to 14. You can get over it, or else I'm going to give you that part of the project where you actually have to learn a whole Excel sheet. And since we're not in school, it's a little difficult to do. So 14 reads, money and retirement. In the previous parts of the project, you've described your job that you hope to have as a career. So now we're going to start planning for retirement. We're going to assume that cost increase by a fixed percentage each year, called inflation, is going to occur. So in order to include this in our calculations, we have to have our retirement paychecks include cost of living adjustment, which is called COLA. Further, you should assume that our retirement income earns 6% annual interest compounded monthly. Some of you may earn more of this in your accounts, but this is conservative we want to at least provide a good estimate for this project. So first I want you to assume what inflation that is going to happen. Obviously, you can't predict the future, so we're going to predict between 2% and 4%. So you get to pick. In this case, I'm going to decide on 4%. I like to be safe and not sorry. Now we're going to decide how much you could comfortably live on and why. So don't include student, car, or house loans. So think, just every month, what are your monthly expenses? So my example, I'm going to say, okay, we're going to do $200 on groceries. We'll do $400 for like out to eat. That includes my Dunkin' Donuts in the morning. I'll give myself $20 or $200 on retail, clothes, pretty things. I like to shop. I'll throw in $20 on streaming services. Yes, I like my Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, all of that. And I'm going to stop there and add that up at $820 and say, you know what? I can live comfortably off of this. I don't want you to stop there. I want you to be realistic as possible. This number could be $2,000. Think about things that you actually do. You have a gym membership that costs money a month. Do you have a magazine subscription? Do you have other subscriptions like a FabFit box every month or the Jelly of the Month Club? Do you belong to a country club that pays dues monthly? Be realistic and think about monthly payments that you might pay now or that you will pay when you become a working adult. So again, yours can be so much higher than this. The more realistic you are with your things that you pay a month, the more realistic we're going to be for planning for retirement. So C. Now, if we are paying $820 a month now for these things, when you retire, inflation kicks in, which is the number we chose up here. So we have to figure out, using the compound interest formula, what $820 looks like when you retire. So we're going to use this compound interest formula to do that. So we want to know the amount when you retire using the principal now. So the principal now is that $820. One is 1, so you just stick that right there. That rate, the inflation rate, is the one you chose up here. I chose 4. You could have chose 2. Divided by number of times interest is compounded. Well, it's compounded monthly. So we're going to have that 12 there. And then your N, again, is 12. And we're going to do with time being 1 year. So times 1. I'm going to break that down, follow PEMDAS, do 1 plus, and figure out that this is 0.003, and just put a 12 there. So that means it's 820 times 1.003. And again, I'm just typing this into the calculator and doing my computations. This is what inflation does to 820. Which makes sense. 820 would look more like 850 when we grow up. That's sensible. So now we have to decide how long we are going to be retired for. So this just means once you stop working, essentially, how long are you going to live? Use your family history, determine average age for your family. If that doesn't work, you could Google averages. So I'm thinking I'm going to retire at age 65. I'll say the average person in my family lives to 85. So I'm probably going to last 20 years retired. Now we're going to figure out how much money we need when we retired. So take how long you think you're going to be retired for, multiply by how much you need each year, which is that number 14c, the inflation number. And that was a month, so times 12. So that means in order to survive for retirement, I'm going to need a total of $204,000. I need to make this much to live off of in retirement. So F is just saying, finally, we need to talk about cost of living adjustment. It's important to note that not all COLAs are calculated in the same way. At your job, for instance, an employer can calculate its adjustment however it seems fit. So some COLAs, especially those that apply to government benefits, have consistent methodologies. The cost of living that the Social Security implements for Social Security and SSI survived from this consumer price index called the Consumer Price Index for Urban Wages Earners and Clerical Workers. So I'm assuming as I'm reading this, I'm already losing you. Hence, that's why we're not ready for this calculation yet. So for this question, if you actually read this and watched this video, all I want you to do is write that I understand calculating retirement is very intricate, and this project is doing the bare minimum, so I will not completely depend on this when making my true life plan. Again, you're rewriting this. That's just a confirmation for me to know that you're not living your life by just doing this project and then following every decision. For 15, this is how do you get your money for retirement? So now that you know how much you need to figure out about investing now. So that's how people make money for retirement, is by investing part of their paycheck away towards retirement. So determine approximately how old you're going to be when you start the job described in part 1. So what I said was, hey, you graduate college around 22, then I need that 3 years of experience or flight hours. So 22 plus 3 years, I should start my astronaut job at 25. Your age may be different. Then it says determine how long in years you'll be investing before you actually retire. So I decided I wanted to retire at 65. I subtract that 25 when I started. That means I'm investing for 40 years if I start investing immediately after I get a job. Okay, this part requires you to have a computer around. So we're going to use 7% annual interest compounding monthly, and we're going to calculate how much you need to invest to meet your retirement goals. But first, we need to see how this works, because you will be adding to the account that accumulates the interest monthly. So for example, if we invested $100 a month, the first month follows the compound interest formula using $100 of principal. Then the account would have $100.58. So you made 58 cents off of interest. So now in your account, you had that $158 already, but the second month you add another 100. So you have 258, and that's what you're going to use, and that's what you're going to gain interest on. So notice how this is just a constant add-in also of the original compounding monthly formula that we've been working with. So since this is different than what we've been working on, we're actually going to use a website calculator to help find out how much we need to invest for retirement. So once you type in this link right here, these are going to be my numbers, but this wrote right exactly how you should find your numbers. So I'm going to go to my computer screen. And as I said, on your piece of paper, your initial investment is going to be $0. Your monthly contribution. So this is what we're trying to find. So this is what you're playing a guess and check game with. So in this case, I'm going to start out by just typing in 100. I'm going to guess monthly contribution being 100. So length and time of years, mine was 40. Yours is going to be the answer from 15B. Estimated interest rate is 7%, and that's going to be yours. Interest rate